Hi, Kathy here with Kathy's Cute Creations. Today I'm going to show you the colors that I'm making this very first block out of. Here are the fabrics that I'm going to use. I'm going to try to get down here close so I can show it to you with having it all in the frame at the same time. If you notice, they're labeled A, B, C, D, go closer, that's an F, E. Now, here's what I kept the same. We'll start with this one here. The H, which is this striped, I kept that. This one here, which is the next fabric, which you'll see is GEF, and that fabric color. I kept all the whites the same. When it came to this here, this fabric here is this dark fabric, which is my fabric. It's not the fabric that came with the kit. So I did keep these two the same using my fabric. When it came to this gray, I used this polka dot right here. So I'm taking off the selvage of the gray and white polka dot. And all these squares have to be 3.5 by 3.5. So all you do is measure over 3.5. And cut your fabric. I'm going to do it to the white and to these, and then I'll be right back. I went ahead and I've put my gray on top of my white so that they're going to both be 3.5 inches. And I'm cutting them out. So I have 2 pieces there. These are 3.5 inch squared. I've got 5 out of that one little strip of gray. The next square to cut out is 1 3.5, which is what we've already cut out, by 5.5. 2, 3, 4, 5.5. I know it said cut out 1, but I'm cutting out an extra. Next up, take your first fabric. You're going to take the white. This is the wrong side. You can, when you're looking at your own fabric, you can see this. This has got like a 3D effect. So on the wrong side, you're marking it diagonally, and that will be your sewing line. And I got a pencil here, so I'm just marking it diagonally from tip to tip. And they'll all get done like that. Then I'm going over to the sewing machine. Now, if I keep having problems, because I do not like starting in the corner, then I will start away from the corner and go back over the corner, if that's the case. Now, if you're having problems in the corner, I'm going to show you with another one what to do. If you don't have all these little pieces, I have all these because I cut up a bunch of other fabric that was left over out of projects. But let's say you don't have those. This is what I used to do, is go ahead and pin it just like before. So I just pin it. You're just holding your 2 pieces together. You don't need to pin it over your line or anything. Therefore, it has a tendency to want to pull. Whenever you have a corner like this, it wants to pull it down into that little circle. So what I do is I come off of it. So my fabric is actually underneath it, as you can see. Because nothing says you have to start at the corner. So I start right here. Don't have to lock it. Go down to the end. If this is what happens to you when you sew it. Come off the end. Go ahead and cut your thread. Go back to where your thread was at, and I use my wheel. Go right over the fabric, and then you're going to come right off the corner. If that's what it takes to get that sewn because it wants to jam inside, which is what mine wanted to do, then by all means. Maybe you feel like it's an extra step, but it's worth it because it'll be perfect. Doesn't make any difference if you've got those threads. You can clip that stuff off. You're not wasting that much thread. Okay, and that's it. Otherwise it'll be jumbled up like that, like it's bunched up. I mean, we'll go ahead and we'll iron that out, but just to let you know. Okay, so we have the A and the F over here. A is the white, F is the polka dot. Now we have to take two F's and we're going to put them on the A's. So first you put it on the left hand side, you mark the line diagonally, which I did, and you sew it on there. So that's going to look like that. We're going to trim this off, so we're going to do the same thing we did before. And then we're supposed to do the same thing on this side. Let's pin it over here. There we go. And you don't want to pull on this because that is on the bias. So you don't want it stretching out. Just let the machine do all the work for you. There you go. We'll take a look at that. Show you what that's going to look like. That's going to look like that. Now so far you should have this and this. Let me back it up so you can see it. This is what you should have. This one here, which was the first one. Can you see the white on there? Yeah. Okay. And then this one, which was those two that we did, and we opened them up and ironed them. They're going to go like that. Then it wants you to take your, I'm going to call it the polka dotted. You're going to make one of these, and it is the 3.5 inch square, which is white, marked diagonally, and then this polka dotted here is 4.5 inches. We're going to sew this together. I went ahead and I cut out the next one. Let me go ahead and show you that. It is a polka dot and a white. It looks like this. And we're going to be sewing these together like that. Right sides together. All right. So let's sew this first. There. There we go. I didn't know if I told you. I went ahead and I put the gray, the light gray thread in. I do, however, have a white bobbin. And this is a universal needle, which is 12, number 12. This fabric is 100% cotton. Okay, so when you've got it cut, this goes here on the corner. Then this one, and then this one, which is the one we just did. It goes to the end there. That's the top. Now we take these two right sides together and sew them together. I'll go ahead and put a pin in it in one spot. By the time you've done all those triangles, and you're going to think this rectangle's easy. all of it's been sewn 1/4 inch, just so you remember. Oops. Uh-oh. Slippery fabric. I guess I needed to pin it a little bit better. Because it just moved right off itself there. So let me pin it. Let's go this way with it here. Take that out. So if you're following along, these are the pieces you have made. These 3, 1, 2, 3. This set here, and you've cut this out, and it looks just like that picture right there. Now we need to do D, which is the white strip that goes across the top up here, all across this. This is where the white strip goes, just like right here. And then we have these 4 blocks right here to make, and then we're finished. Now here is a tip about stripes. If you put the striped fabric on the part that you can see, then you know that you'll be going straight down here. If you're off a scant by your 1/4 inch, because I realize you're following your 1/4 inch, but also you want to follow where your line goes. For example, I'm going to put this in at my 1/4 inch, and it is going to be on the right-hand side of a line, but close to the line, in order to match up all the way up there. Let's see if I can get it matched now that I got it part the way done. Oh, I gotta pull it over just a little bit. There we go. Let's see if that'll work, because it is right on the edge of that line. If you're too intimidated and you bought this kit, then don't use this fat 1/4. Go with some teeny weeny little flower print or something else, and then you won't have to be worried that you can't get it. Or don't worry about it, cut it on the diagonal, it won't make a difference either, because it is your barn. If you want to make it wonky, make it wonky. Let's see here if I did that right, or if mine's off. I know the cut wasn't off. There we go. No, that looks okay. Enough for me to pass it. Let's see if I can put it in the camera there. Let me iron it here. Hold on 1 second. See, with those polka dots on the right, it doesn't look bad at all. I'm going to sew this top across there, these 3 and this piece here, and then we're going to make the 4 to attach to this left-hand side. If you look at this when I pinned it, it has like a little wavy right there. That's because there's more fabric up here. And since your feed dogs will pull the fabric, I would put it upside down. Let me see, maybe I better pin it the other way, because it will feed through that fabric. I believe that's the way it goes, if I'm not mistaken. But I will extra pin it, just to be on the safe side. Let's see here. Not quite. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at that corner. Okay, looks good. Now we need to get our other piece on here, which is this piece here. There's the third piece. I'm going to iron it, and then we're going to put this strip on it. And I'll be right back. Okay, getting ready to put this 1.5 inch strip on. I pinned this in a lot of places because when I first laid it out before I ironed it, it didn't even make the 12.5, although I cut it 12.5. So I find that I am having to do a lot of starching to get it to come out the size it needs to come out. Maybe I just haven't been starching all that time. I usually use steam, but my steam iron, when I came up this today to do this block, the water which was in the tank was all over the iron and the floor. So my tank, I guess, is no longer any good to hold any water. It's working as far as ironing without any steam, so I just won't be able to use any steam, and I'll just have to switch to either a spray bottle of water, which I can bring up, because that's the way that I usually iron, is with water. I don't normally iron with that much starch, but it did fit on there. So I will iron this, and then it's time to make the squares. So I have the first two triangles, and I have pinned them together, and I have really spray starched them good, so they would be good and stiff. So they do not move and wiggle. I'm going to finger press it. Let's do the other one. I'm not going to chain piece these. I don't want to be in a hurry. In between each one that I do, I'm going to iron it and put spray starch on it so that they don't stretch due to the bias. I went towards the polka dot. I'm going to iron this. I'll be right back. Now I heavily pinned it. I'm starting in the middle like before. I went down here to the edge, pinned it, and then I pinned it at the intersection and then at the corner to match them up, and then slowly pinned them so they would all match. Put a stiletto down there by your fingertips at the corner if you'd like. I'm going to flip this one upside down, even though it's going to have the pins on the other side. That's fine. I'm going to start it right here. Still launching it. I pinned it the same way. Did at the end down here. And there's the block. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up all the other blocks, and then I'll be back. There's the inside of the barn. Now you're going to take the right sides together like this, and we're going to sew them together. Forget to cut your little dog ears off before you do it. Unless you're one of the ones that like to have your dog ears on there. I don't. I like to have that nice and clean at the edge, the corner. I've pinned mine 3 times. Now that you got it all pinned, sew it together. Hope. Let's see here. And then when I get it done, I'll show it to you. Okay. And there we have finished. As you can see, all of our points met. Let me go iron it. Now I'm attaching the side piece to the, I'm calling it the body of the barn. I'll put a lot of pins in there. There you go. Oops. Got a piece of thread, looks like it came through there. There we go. That's the side. I'm going to iron that before we attach the top. I'm going to show you this. The top lays on it like this. And this seam needs to line up with that seam. So what I did was, I took this, and right here, where this seam is, I folded it, and then I pinched it. I laid it out straight like this. Pinched the top, just to make a mark. Opened it up, and now I'm going to pin it right here. Do you see the fold? Now that I've got the top attached to the bottom, now, if you find that while you're putting this together, that maybe one side's a little bit bigger than the other, which means it is stretched out a bit, then you want to put that side of the fabric on the bottom, because your feed dogs will feed it through and will make room for it, where the top will not feed it through. I know that doesn't make any sense, but if you try it on a practice piece of fabric, you'll understand what I'm saying. It'll actually feed the extra fabric through. I think I need to, now let's see, I'm going to iron it and measure it, but there it is finished. And let me go iron it real quick. There's the block, all done, finished for the first month. I believe they're counting April as the first month, I think. I mean, we got our kit in April, but I made it in May, so I'm just 1 month beyond. There's what it's supposed to look like. Well, I hope that block wasn't too confusing. I want to thank you all for joining in. See you next time for this block. Next month for this block. Bye-bye. Say this is 12.5 inches. And let me take the ruler out from underneath it. I forgot that part. Bye-bye.